What is it, Gary, about retail that holds such an attraction for private equity?
I think it's scale. If you've got a good retail model or a concept, it's very easy to go and open 100 stores or 200 stores. It's not huge capital investment, up front to open up a retail shop. And in the US, you can see retail. You can go from 0 to 100 stores in no time because there's plenty of places to go. And at the same time, here in Australia, you have for years, Westfield, every time they were opening a new location, they would invite retailers to go along. So it's a pretty easy you can replicate it. It's a cookie cutter concept. And that's fine if you're making the margins. And, if you go back 15, 20 years ago, a 50% gross margin was normal and you could make profit at 50% gross margin. Now you've got to make 68%, 70% gross margin because you're paying anywhere north of 15% on your sales in rent, and you're paying $23 to $25 an hour for your labour. So the economics don't work, and which means you've got to have more retail stores. You've got to try and get volume, and then keep your corporate overhead very low, and hope that you get a couple of percent falling to in operating profit, falling to the to each store's profit to the bottom line.
It's interesting. I mean, I'm no stock analyst, but if you look at it's how Webjet, for example, has lined up against what's the one that's got all the retail locations?
Flight Centre, was it?
Flight Centre. And now Webjet's shares they've come back a bit, but they went up, I think, because they have a web-based model. And I read in one of these articles that I sent around that the private equity guys are saying, look, the model's changing. Instead of having 200 stores, it'll be 25 stores plus a really strong web presence. Are you seeing that, Gary?
Yeah, look, what's very, very important, and we obviously spend a lot of time looking at what's happening in the US. If you look at the US retailers that are doing well, it's where they years ago made a huge investment into their online business. Yeah. So if you look at them now, they've really created a very successful, online, non-bricks and mortar business. So they may still have a few bricks and mortar stores, but the majority of their business is moving towards online. The ones that we're seeing that are collapsing are those that did not make that transition. And the successful ones made that transition a long time ago.
Okay. Listen, I've got a couple of queries for you on this, Sule, with respect to retail. I mean, I haven't done a deep dive on all these retail VAs, the big ones that are making the news. I mean, is there an element of bringing the landlords to the negotiation table? Is that part of the story in any of these? I know as an administrator, you're right across obviously the rights of landlords versus the company in VA. Is there an element of that?
I think it's and the reason why there's a proliferation of these retail collapses. I think we've touched on it in a loose fashion. There's too much debt. The labour costs it is Australian-centric, of course. The labour costs are too high. The property costs are too high. There's too much debt. And in a lot of cases, they haven't implemented or adopted a proper e-commerce type delivery strategy. Yes, the rents have caused a lot of issues, but at the moment, you get the feeling there's an expectation gap between what landlords think they should be getting and what they're entitled to be getting, and they're diametrically opposed from tenants. In 6 months, 12 months' time, I think that expectation gap will narrow and there'll be better deals done.